you having a boring afternoon?
Oh, it's been an incredibly boring afternoon.
Hey YouTube, it's Faye, and for today's video, you can see that behind me I have the block from Project 88, and in my last video I sort of left you off at this place where I sort of hit a fork in the road, but it was more of a crossroads. There's many different ways that I could go with this build, and today I'm actually going to address the fork in the road, come to it, and actually make a choice. But before I make that choice, I've got to actually get a little bit more information from this block. So first thing I'm going to do today is finish boring out the rest of the cylinders, every single one of them, 240 over, to see, will they all clear, or are there other cylinders that also have problems as well? And that will let me know, one of two things. Could I bore 260 over all of them? Is that my only option? Or could I sleeve just the first one? And then of course, I'll go ahead and just bore that first cylinder out 260 over to see if it would even clear, and that would give me more information. Take all that information together and I will make a decision on how to move forward with Project 88, or if I just throw the whole thing away and start fresh. So, if you thought last video in the series was boring, well, prepare yourself, because this one is about to get even more boring. So I hope you can bear with me as I move forward on this project. So if you are new here, then I highly recommend that you start at the beginning of this playlist and get caught up, or at least watch my last video in this series where we actually talk about the issues of this block in the first place. But if you don't want to do that, then I will catch you up really quickly. I'm just going to show you the cylinders, how they are at this very moment, so you can see the issue that I'm facing. Okay, so here we have cylinder 1 bored to 40 over, and you can see that there's still quite a lot of pitting going on in there, like a lot of pitting. So this will not suffice. 40 over is not enough for this block. It might be enough for the rest of them, but my other concern is cylinder 3. Look at all the pitting that is going on in there as well. That is really, really, really intense. This is why you should not leave your engines outside in the elements. Oh, look at that one. Woo! Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, well, we're gonna see if that clears 40, and that'll give us another little piece of the puzzle. I'm not a betting woman, but I want to place bets on cylinder 3. So what do you think, Janie? Because I don't think it's gonna clear 40. I think 3 is definitely not as bad as 1 in terms of just like feel. However, it looks pretty bad. So I want to know, what do you think, Danny? Like, do you think that there's a chance that 3 is gonna clear 40?
That's the next bad one, yes. And 5 ain't too happy either.
So we also did a little honing just to clean up the cylinders, so that's why they look so bipolar. It's like they're clean and dirty. I know, right? They totally are if you look at them. The part that we're concerned about actually is not the water staining per se, but the pitting. So when I zoom in really close, you can see the pitting, and that was what really KO'd. You can see on this one, cylinder 1, that's really what KO'd cylinder 1. That is bored to 40 over. The rest are not yet. So we're gonna start with boring over the rest to 40 over. Is it gonna clear 40 or is it not? What do you say, Danny?
I thought the other one was gonna clear, so I misjudged this one pretty bad. So I think the 3 would be the next logical choice. You know, because we have some outs and we still have some, there's still
we
a
still have
lot of
options.
chances. Yeah, this block isn't condemned. They're so hard to find. It's not condemned at all. So I think that would be a good choice, is to start there and let's see how that one clears up and see because if it does, then we can keep moving on. Like I said, we can always sleeve it.
Yep.
But that one made you be just as bad as that one.
Now, we have left this machine completely as is. So the last thing we did was this is still set. Is it still set? 240
yes.
over 4. Okay, so we've got to adjust it back because you like to do this in different cuts. So we're not just going to go instantly to 40 over.
This is old analog. We're old analog. So we're on the inch world. So we're going to need to do, this is metric. So
yes.
This is millimeters. Mm-hmm. So this is 83 millimeters. So the very first thing that we did in the math, because everything that we're doing is in inches. So yes. We converted it over to our inches. So that might be some of the thing. And when we're talking overbore.
And that is this right here, 3.267 inches.
Yes, and we're 83 millimeters.
And so that's our baseline. And that's
a factory bore.
Yep. That's the factory bore, and we got that from looking it up or from taking the measurement of the piston.
We got that from taking the measurement of the piston. Right now, I just went and looked it up, and it is 83. So
cool.
I'm going to do my handy, I didn't go to school math, And
No, I love it though. This is such a smart way to do it.
because it's just, why make the world harder? So we're going to go to 83, which it says that's the factory bore. So I'm using this just as conversion. So I'm going to eventually hit the number. There it is, right there. There it is.
Nice.
83.
Yep.
So by clicking it over, 3.268. And what do
Awesome.
we have? 3.267.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
within 1,000ths, we're leaving the bore smaller
Yep.
because we're going to hone. So we're leaving it even a little extra smaller because we may even torque plate hone it. That's still an option. So we want to leave 4,000s if we're going to torque plate hone. You know what? Most people we talked about in the video don't leave about 2,000s in a production, and they don't torque plate hone. We want to talk about.
We've
torque
had
plate
a
honing?
lot of we got to make a whole video talking about torque plate honing because that was I saw a ton of comments about that as well. So definitely for those who are interested, we'll definitely cover that in a whole nother video as
You don't
well.
want to get in La La Land. And what I say about La La Land is if you think the factory torque plane hones every engine that comes out, your car would cost $100,000 for a Chevy 350. Yes, no, factory motors are not torque plate honed. Blueprinted ones from Toyota TRD or from Chevy Racing, yes. All stock production motors are not torque plate honed.
Oh, so you're saying this is just a stock production motor?
Well, not no more.
No, it's a forklift. Not no more.
Yes. So, yeah.
Right now, it's still a forklift. So hoping
Yes.
for a second chance at life.
And people are going, I want their 6-cylinder forklift. Where can I find one?
Oh, well, they're hard to find. I'm having a hard time finding another one, which is why we're reviving this one or trying to. All right, so that's our baseline. So that is stock. All right, so our first cut, as you said in our last video about boring, and if you have not watched our last video about boring, then click the link right above and check it out so you can be caught up. Yeah, right, somewhere up here. I think it's gonna be here, there, I don't know. So the first cut you want to make is 20 over because that's normally the size that the first step up pistons are.
Yes.
Unless
And
you
we
have a
would always
custom piston.
Yes, we would always try to have as much meat as you can. So go for the smaller size.
Right.
So we tried for 20. We weren't able to do that. We tried for 30, and then we went all the way to 40, which is 100 millimeters. 25 millimeters equals 10 thousandths.
Yep.
So there, y'all do the math and you let us know. But I think that's right. So and that's where we stopped.
Okay, so that's how we got to our first number. Now, what are we doing here, Danny?
What we did is I like to do a test hit, as I like to call it, and that's when I go in there and just add a couple of thousandths to go down the bore. And what we did in the video, we just went 1,000ths, and when we did it to the exact bore, it didn't touch anything. It just put smoke. It was just basically cleaning the bore.
Yep.
Most people wouldn't want to do that because everybody's machine varies. So everybody does a first cut of 10, 20, or 30 and go, oh, it cleaned up. Well, I like to just do a test hit to make sure, my mic didn't get dropped. It's only me in the shop, but still, you never know that something's not going on with the mic, that there's something going on with the boring bar. So I like to just do a test hit, and we'll end up doing a test hit today as well, just to make sure that it's centered up exactly right.
I like it. It's like a calibration. It's like hitting zero, you know?
And if all of a sudden, if I set it to the bore size, standard,
Right?
and it started cutting a lot,
Yeah.
something happened. We got something underneath there. I missed my dial, my number, something stopped. And that's why I just like to do a test hit. It's easier to take your time. And what do they say on woodwork? Measure twice, cut once.
Yes.
Well, this is metal. The same thing. Measure twice, cut once. I like to measure 3 or 4 times. So we kind of ease up on it. So we'll do the same thing. Right now we're going to go ahead and put it right back in the machine. And we're going to jump over to number 3.
Yep.
And see how number 3 holds up.
That is so cool.
83 millimeters is 3.268. Not a problem. We're 1,000 smaller.
And as you said, that can change as we heat up anyway.
Yes. That's why I do kind of small hits and see what happens. Depending on the nickel on the block, then the bit will get hotter. When metal heats up, it expands. We're talking it's not that much, but everything that we do on here is times 2.
Right.
Yeah, because it's half the circle
Half
and
the-
it's spinning.
yep.
So if I move the cutter out 1,000, it cuts the board 2,000 bigger.
Yep.
So
Yep.
slightest little bit will make a big difference. We're going to let it talk to us and tell us what it wants to cut at. I can argue it and fight it and whatever. Or if I know it's cutting 1,000s big, I'll subtract 1,000s from my measurement. And when
Right.
I end up, it's perfect. So
Right.
even though it's a machine that cuts either too big or too small, you can still cut a hole perfectly.
Right.
It's just, but if you don't listen to the machine, then you're just not, So we're gonna go and start off with the 3.267.
Right. So we're setting our baseline. We're
So-
doing a zero cut right now.
Yeah. So this mic just reads right here, 3-inch,
Yep.
3.1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 3.5. So we know that 1, 2 is where we want to be. So there's our 2. So now we're at 3.2.
Yep.
3.3, 3.4, 3.5.
Love it.
And we need 67 more. So one whole turn is 50, 55, 60, 65, 6, 7. You can see our little line that we did as a little light little cut there. Let's go ahead and do the same thing. You know, and then I did my first cut over there, and then we did 2, 3, and that's just because that's the way that's how I roll.
I love that. And you do not clean that off until the block is done.
Yeah, and then I
sort
wipe
of
it
keep
off
that as
for
your
the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I get it interrupted and I go back. Also, another thing I do that's a tip, doesn't have anything to do with anybody besides me, is I don't turn the dial until I cut it.
Yeah.
So even while it's cutting, you can speed it up and go ahead and set it up for the next cut. But if I get interrupted, whatever this is my last cut.
Yes.
So
Yes.
So I go ahead and wait till I stop, and then I turn the dial just before I cut it.
No, that's super smart because you get interrupted all the time, especially when you work in a shop. And I will say, especially around here, a lot of people come and try to interrupt Danny. Not just me, okay? A lot of people try to come and interrupt Danny. But also, like, in the shop, I kind of do something similar, like when I have the wheels off. I will never move the lift arms until the wheels are torqued. Because that way I know that, like, when the lift arms are moved, the vehicle is ready to be moved out. But I will not...
You don't want to be at home, laying in bed, all of a sudden, did I tighten up those? You know, you do things that just kind of...
God.
Yeah.
Unnecessary stress. And, like, you know, stress causes, like, you know, a whole bunch of bad things in the body.
My uncle could always keep track of everything. He'd be boring. He'd go do a cylinder head. He's doing a guide, comes back with a cigarette there. He'd all lit up with ashes up to there. And he'd come back and set the boring bar and walk away, and he's amazing. You know, he's just amazing.
But he relied on those little, like, you build these rituals, you build these habits, and then you can, like, rely on them if you don't
I don't know how he could get distracted. So doing a cylinder head, doing a block, and coming back, he hears the machine started to slow down, and he make it there in time just to set the cutter up and go and still keep the cigarette without dropping an ash. I think we need to just do that. How far can you go with the cigarette ash and then not falling?
I don't smoke.
I don't either, but I said, oh, I do, and I couldn't do it. But anyway, that's a different story. Okay. So, you're good to go.
Yeah.
The fingers are coming out so you can see.
As the machine centers, there it is. Oh, that's awesome. So now I can go 4. Put it in here. Clutch in.
And now we're going to have...
Now something's going to happen. Now some stuff is happening. Alright, so to keep this video from being too boring for y'all, I went ahead and did a little fast forwarding. I skipped over my test cut and my second 2 cuts since I already showed that in my last video.
There's a little rush right there.
Yep, so this cut is equivalent to...
That's our third. Okay, that was our 40, 30. So we're at 30 already.
Okay, wow, wait a second. This is a 30 cut. Ooh, I don't know. Then I'm not sure if a 40 cut's gonna do it. Well, I guess we won't know until
that's what we'll know, because all we have is 10 left. We have 10 left, and that's why you were doing it. So
actually, wait a second. Actually, wait a second.
It's a lot of stain, but not pits. And water stains are real tricky because don't worry about water stain. Water stain, you know, like my uncle said, you want me to get rid of the water stain? I'll cut your block to 60,000 when it could have cleared 30.
No, that's just, I'm not.
It's not really pitted, so let's give it another 10.
Okay, yeah. All right, let's give it another 10.
We were still with 4,000s to hone, so you can go another 10.
Right, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, we're still under, so you can't overboard. We're not, as long as you don't go past our number 3. No matter what in the world happens, we're good. We're undersized.
Perfect. So turning it to 3 right now.
We'll give it another 10.
Another 10, which is the equivalent of 40 thousandths over from our original measurement. All right, cool. Cylinder 3. Okay, you don't feel half bad. I think we did it. I think we're done here. Thinking it had cleared, I went ahead and chose my next worst victim. So here is 6. This one also has some pretty gnarly pitting in there. Thinking cylinder 3 had cleared, I went ahead and bored the rest of the cylinders to 40 over, going through the steps that Danny had taught me. Starting with my 0 cuts, check my centering accuracy, then working my way up slowly by 10s until I got to 4 thousandths below 40 over. All right, so got them all done. Let's see what we got.
Right there, you can see
Some pitting, yeah.
just, but it's very, very minute little. Like I said, it would most definitely hold rings. The one over here that had some deeper ones, well, that's a little
Yeah.
bit, it's a little bit bad. But
And
so
then
far, we're
3 still doesn't look good. Like, look at that. Water stains, but you can feel it still.
you can feel it right there. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more than water stains. Yep.
So,
And that's already 40.
yes.
And we know they do make it a 60.
Yeah, there's Weissco 60 overs
What you might do is punch this one 60.
to 60 and see if it clears.
And if it clears, then you can go 60 on all of them. And if
Yep.
not, we can put a sleeve in it.
Yep. Or maybe a sleeve in 2, because
Oh, yeah.
look at that one.
Might as well learn how to put a sleeve in.
All right, so I just completed my last cut for 60 over on cylinder 1. So we shall see. Oh, no way. This is not cleared up at all. All right, so the rest of the cylinders are bored to 40 over, or obviously not quite, like 4 thousandths under, because we're going to be finishing up the widening of the cylinders for the pistons on the honing machine. And actually, like, looking at the rest of the cylinders, they don't even look like they're super cleared up at almost 40 over. So I'm definitely going to have Danny take a peek and let me know what he thinks.
Okay, so.
All right, that's the final cut for 60. Of course, leaving us a little bit of room for some honing. And obviously I'm seeing like the water stains in there, but also feeling.
Where it's in there. So this is already at the final cut, so that we can go ahead and loosen it because we're not going to do anything else to it.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, that's the final cut.
Now we can see. We'll look at that.
Get it out of the way.
Okay.
Yep, so here's my math. And I went off of our final cut for the 40 over. That put me at 4 thousandths of a grace period. Then I added 10 and then I added 10.
Yes. And
So there's our final
for
cut right there.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided that that was going to be the max. 3.304 is going to be the absolute max that we're going to go. So that's the number that I used and added 10 to it and added 10 to it to give me 3.324.
And we stay
Saving
smaller because
myself
of the honing.
Yep, staying smaller because
Yep.
of the honing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So now we can actually see that no, in fact, this thing had water for a long time.
So this,
Yeah, look at the.
Yeah.
You can see right
yep,
there. Almost the paint can stick in a little hole right there.
yep,
So that's what's going to condemn it. Like I said, a lot of times you'll get a water stain, but a water stain can be several thousands deep, but it's only a stain. There's still metal, it's just a water stain. So a lot of times you're getting silly if you want to bore and get rid of all the water stains. You know, that'd be silly.
yeah.
The pitting is what we have to worry about,
Right.
especially like this because it actually is. You can see it's pretty bad.
You can see a lot of my little fuzzies from cleaning it out with the rag.
With-
There's a
yes.
purple rag.
And now, and that's a good thing because remember how smooth it looks?
Yeah.
When you clean it with a rag and look how jagged it is.
Yeah, yes,
And
yes.
that's why
super
we have
jet.
to hone.
That's why we hone.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
all right. So now we have answer number 1. That is that they're not just going to bore all out nicely to 60 over and have them all be the same. I only have one option, and that is sleeve it.
We got 2 options.
Oh.
But the second option is viable, not feasible.
Oh.
Have a custom piston made.
Oh.
Viable, not feasible.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh, that's
so
right,
it is an
okay,
option
right.
because we want to. Some people are going to chime in as you can have a custom piston made.
Uh,
Yes, we can. Viable, not feasible.
yeah. This is still trying to be a budget build, people. So,
Yes, and that's a good thing to tell people because we can put a man on the moon. It doesn't mean that everybody can afford to go to the moon. It just doesn't.
did
make
we
sense.
even put a man on the moon?
Did they think we?
I don't know.
I don't know. We won't get into that.
Who knows? The other thing is getting a sleeve and then boring this to 40 over, because looking at the rest of these, would you just these are all once again bored to 40 over, and I'm not even sure if, okay, visually.
Yes, I see what you're saying. Are we gonna have to put a sleeve and still go 60? I get what you're, like they used to say, I get what you're stepping in. Okay, I see it. Oh, son of biscuits. Golly. I was really hoping to clear 40 just because of the cost of the pistons. but we really don't even know if we're going to put a sleeve and still go 60, which is still doable. We're still not canning this one as hard as they are to get. We almost had to bore that one 60. If it did clear up, that's our answer, sleeve and 60.
There's still so much more to know.
People think it's easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It's kind of an old saying. And there is no magic wand that we can wave over to go, oh, you're going to be fine and order this. A lot of times it's just, I don't like to bore until I have a piston. But yet, I don't want to order a piston until I know the bore.
Yeah. And that's why you can't really estimate what an engine build is going to cost somebody either.
And most shops wouldn't have done this. Because by the time you did this, you bored all of these, and you went on 30, then you went 40, and then when it goes right, most shops would have charged you for 3 board jobs.
Yeah.
You still had to put it up on here, and take it off, and you still had to start all over again and board next over.
Yeah.
So you essentially bored 3 engines.
So I could be making a heck of a lot more money in a production shop if I just told somebody, this is garbage, or we're going to go right to 60 for the first time.
A production shop would have just punched at 60, did not even play with it. If it didn't clear, sorry, it didn't clear. We'll put the sleeves or whatever, and then done and put it over to the floor and you still own them. And that's not their dilemma to try to get the best job, to try to save as much meat. There's a production shop in San Antonio, which is really weird because my dad was a shop foreman there for 25 years. And they only had 40s and 60s in stock and pistons. They were one of the biggest engine rebuilders in South Texas. And in their warehouse was packed. Mr. Turner owned it, the woman, Mr. Turner. And I asked Mr. Turner, I said, why don't you have 20s and 30s? And I would try to save a bore in 20 and or 30 or whatever. She goes, very rarely they clear in 20. Am I going to stock 20s, 30s, 40s, and 60s? No, I'm going to stock 40s and 60s. Everything clears in 60. Well, when you got a hard camel motor, one of the kind of things was all the hard camel motor is 60 over. Most of them were. The lowest they would do is 40. And he goes, I'm not going to pay a guy to cut them board 20, oh, it didn't clear. Board 30, oh, it didn't clear.
That makes a lot of sense.
So in a production,
time.
Yeah, in a production shop, they would always punch everything 60, 40 or 60, 40 or 60. So that's the dilemma. To do precise, but no one kind of, I don't say no one's going to do it, but so you went through the motions, but there was a good chance.
Yes.
So now you almost have to do one more in 60.
Yep.
And then if it clears, we're going to sleeve it and go 60, and that's our answer.
Yep. All right.
Besides still having to order a set of wise code 60 over pistons.
Which are not in stock anywhere, might I add. So special order.
8 to 12 weeks.
Oh man, if they're if they even can get them, they haven't even tried ordering them yet. They're not going to waste their time giving a phone call unless I'm actually seriously looking for them. So, and we'll buy them from them, which I probably won't. I think I'm gonna try 6.
All right.
I think that one is worse.
I think you're right. All right. If you want to try punching one more hole or wait till the end or whatever, but
I'm gonna punch one more hole.
One more hole,
what I was hoping for at the end of this video was some sort of conclusion, and so far we don't have a conclusion yet. So I could leave them hanging, or I could just do it. So.
But this is a good example of what everybody goes through. Or don't get frustrated when this happens to you because
can't get mad at knowledge.
Yeah, you can't get mad at knowledge. All right, punch it out to 60.
Push it out to 60. This is 60 over on cylinder 6. There it goes. All right, so
amazing things have happened.
60 over has been achieved.
Now, if the law come out like that, well, Jiminy Cricket.
So it looks like the answer is 60 over and a sleeve. So there's 6. And you can see that that cleared up in 60.
We can go old school and just leave them 40, 30, 60.
I don't want to do that.
I used to know a shop that says, a motor doesn't know any different. And he would do that. They'd work. Like I said, a motor ain't going to know any difference of 30 to 40. And he wouldn't go back. If it didn't clear, he'd go to 40, but he wouldn't go back and cut the other ones 30 or cut the other 40.
I'm going to cut the rest of these 60.
Yes, we're not going there. I'm just saying what people have done doesn't mean we're going to do it, but but
there's a lot of people out there calling themselves machinists, Danny.
It ain't big enough.
Oh!
It's not going to fit.
I wish. Oh my God, look at those fancies. You can't even see. Oh, he's got some fancies. No, all right. So we just did 60 over on 5, which was the second to worst. And it is clear. This is not the end result that I was expecting. Sleeve, cylinder 1, and we've got to bore them all out, the rest of them.
Which you're going to take, I'm not going to go chicken poop, make chicken soup because we're chicken people. But you're going to take a bad thing and you're going to make it good because put a sleeve in it.
Put a sleeve in it.
Yeah.
It's another part of the journey that you get to enjoy along with us as I build up Project 88. And I mean, I've gotten a ton of practice with boring. Like, you just throw any block at me now.
I like that.
No, that's, I don't know.
No, you've essentially bored 3 6-owners right now.
Yes.
So good practice.
A lot of boring.
Yeah. A lot of boring.
This was an extremely boring day, let me tell you. Whew. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, awesome, stay tuned because coming up next, obviously, is installing a sleeve. So in case you're interested in that and you enjoy my machine shop videos with Danny, then, leave a comment, let me know you're looking forward to it, and I will see you in my next video. All right, bye.
I guess once you take a file on top of a block, you're a machinist.
Oh, I'm a machinist. Sweet.
No, well, you are officially a machinist now. So, but you see how if you try to turn right now, it would move on you?
If you try to
do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
yes.
but you already picked it up without having to say anything. A lot of times, it's the easier way to teach is to let you see.
Oh, absolutely, you gotta do. You gotta do. I mean, it's
do.
One thing for y'all to be watching, but like, it is another thing having hands-on and like being in the experience. Like,
so that's why DeMarco would teach. A lot of times, he knew that you were gonna come to the crossroads of saying, "Hey, Chief, now what do I do?" But he'd sit back and watch you and see if you.
See how far you got?
Mm-hmm. I won't say he let you hang yourself, but he wanted you to learn.
Yeah.
And the best way to learn, if he knew.
Honestly, the best way to learn is messing up.
Yeah. As long as it didn't hurt the block where a customer's block was messed up.
Yeah.
But he was very much into the lessons. Everything was a lesson. Everything was a lesson.
Got it. And so that's why it's like you treat it very carefully. You try not to drop it, obviously.
That's why it gets covered and then it gets rolled. And yes, like I said, that napkin is 8 years old.
Oh!
Not that it matters, but if you can take care of a napkin for 8 years and not rip it up, you must be taking care of your mic really, really good, right? If the napkin can get damaged, the mic's not going to.
Don't leave your blocks outside, people. Just don't.
And people don't realize that every morning, every night, engines condensate.
Yeah.
Every single day. On a car that starts up and drives up every day, every week, no problem. The reason when you go drain a vintage car, like it's been parked for a long time, and there's a little bit of water in the oil, or the oil is gray, is because every day it sweats, and it runs down the cylinder, and it runs down the cylinder, and it runs down the cylinder. Cast iron condensates every morning.
Huh.
It sweats.
I did not know
It sweats
that.
every single day. Unless you have a climate-controlled environment, which, even a garage isn't climate-controlled.
No.
So every day it sweats. On a normal car, it doesn't matter because it fires up and runs all the time. As soon as it fires up, the moment it heats up, all that turns to steam.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Yes.
It evaporates.
Yes.
Oh,
But if you have something that's sitting there for 2 or 3 years, every morning the cylinders are sweating. To me, that's the way I like to learn. Tell me something. I have a question. I'll come at. I kind of like my uncle would do. He'd want you to ask the questions.
Yeah.
Because that means that you're paying attention.
Right.
If you didn't, he's like, well, I knew. Why didn't you ask the question? You went ahead and bored it when you he would let's set stuff up. He expected you to come back. Like, remember I told you about the guides?
Yes.
And or the angles?
Yes.
So he would.
Because the 30-degree ones when they're all 45.
Yeah. So
what was it? Is it Chrysler that was 30 degree?
Oldsmobile. Oldsmobile's a 30.
Okay.
So when you go to cut, an idiot, the angle's wrong, but he just keep on cutting, and get all the valves all cut. Yeah. As opposed to, oh my God, and I go, oh my God, what am I doing? Then finally, after going on because I didn't want to, ask a question that's stupid, and then I would go to Chief and I go, it was only touching at the end. Oh, I say, he wouldn't say, son, whatever he would say, and it would be like the best price. He would like, yes, because it's a 30. Here's a 45, and then here's a 30. So when you go to cut them, yes, it's only cutting the outside. But idiots would go and cut all the way, and we need to place another valve. But I can tell you this stuff, or you can figure it out, and then come and ask, And then it's like, really, your mind's working. You're,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
No, I love that. I love having the opportunity to like watch you and then like have you there and spot me, you know, and then do it myself.
And it's real scary because, yes, I get
Well,
it.
yeah, because not only is it my only blog, but it's also, I mean, a machine that you make your living
Yes.
off of.
And,
so-
and I wouldn't set you up to feel where it's going to be like, we've already locked our stop at the bottom, and we kind of already got things, and I was comfortable enough to walk away. That generally takes, there's some people that I never walk away from the bowling bar because I don't feel that they even got the premise of what we're doing. And if you don't have the premise of what we're doing, it's like, how in the heck did you break that? You're not even on the board, you're over here. What I'm saying? But you got the premise of what we're doing, so I know that, I guess, I don't know if it's still even on, but I get so excited when you're reading the mic, because you wanted to learn how to read a mic.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's like kind of like when I'm feeling the joy that my uncle would feel when it's like somebody's listening to me or somebody's gears are moving. It's like I can keep talking because the gears are moving.
Well, yeah.
Yes, but there's some people that the gears don't ever move, and it's like I'm just wasting my time.
Well, also, like, I mean, here's the
Sorry.
thing. I'm also not just looking to get this done. And this is actually something that I was talking about in an Instagram post I made the other day. It's like, there's so many people that keep on asking me, like, when is your super going to be done? When is your super going to, it's like, whoa, you know, it could be done in a couple weeks if I wanted to buy a crate motor and put it in and just have it running.
Or
This is the opportunity to learn every single step of the way. And I'm not just looking to get this block board. I mean, if I wanted the block board, I would have just said, Danny, take my money, bore the block.
You could have paid me to board this and honed it and hand it to you, and then you assembled it, and then everybody thinks that. I think it's amazing that you want to learn it because you're, like I said, by learning this, you see how everything affects everything else.
Yeah.
And not most people have when I was saying that, I just felt for the first time that like my uncle must have felt when he was sick, because it's like, I'm not wasting my time talking.
No.
The little gears are moving and you're clicking and you're going and
Well, and people that are watching this too, you know, like there are going to be people that really gain a ton from this series of videos.
Yeah, and maybe somebody out there will take the joy of, golly, machining could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It actually could be. Or it could be more frustrating if you're just an ass or sorry. So.
No, but it's also hard. You know, there's a whole bunch of skill. It's not just one of those jobs that you get into, you know, in year one, call yourself a master machinist. It's like all these little tips and tricks that you've shared along the way of this build. Like, I feel like that's taken a lifetime for you to accrue.
Most mechanics couldn't even be machinists. Most mechanics are good mechanics, but they couldn't be machinists. Most machinists couldn't be mechanics. It's a different thing. It's you.
God, I feel like I'm becoming a better mechanic because I'm learning machining.
Yes. Yes, because you see how everything affects everything, and everything does affect everything. No, it's amazing.
It's like, you know, when I personify my cars, it kind of like makes sense because you think about like the way that the human body as a system works, and it's like if one thing is out of whack and you're in dis-ease, you know, then all these other things happen and you get all these weird symptoms and you have to take all these medications and all this crazy stuff when it might just be one small thing. It's like, you know, you realize in the process of learning the art of blueprinting and all the ways that engines can be built like within this wide range of specification and everything's a little bit, it's like you wonder how any of these things run at all.
all anybody, and I say that I shouldn't use the word anybody, you know me, I talk about anybody, all they care about that it has compression, it fires up and runs. If that's your only goals that you have is that it has compression, and what did my uncle always say? For an engine to run, what do you need? You need compression, you need fuel, and you need ignition. What's the fourth thing?
Timing?
You gotta have all those in time.
Yeah.
So the very first thing he would do when you walk up the thing, pull the spark plug out, stick your finger in, we got compression. By having compression, we know our valve timing is correct, or we wouldn't have compression. The next thing, he would actually stick his finger in the spark plug and crank it, and his muscle would go. Yeah, and he would check for, and then, or you go like this to me when I'm, you know.
Oh God!
So okay, we got spark. His hair go like this, and we got spark. Okay, the next thing, fuel. Do we have fuel? We got fuel. We got spark. Compression. It's gonna run. Oh, it's out of time. So it's the timing part. Now we got to get all those in time. The fuel has to be in there when the compression comes up and the spark comes in. So if the spark is out of time, but the first thing is, if we have compression, we have spark and we got fuel, this baby's going to run. Mm-hmm. This baby's going to run. So the very first thing is check those three. If that's it, we got to run. If not, we got it easy. We ain't got spark, we ain't got fuel, or we ain't got compression.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just that he could get anything running. He could get anything running with just those, real simple. All three first, we checked them. Now it's just a matter of timing. And it's generally because somebody messed with the distributor.
Just a matter of time.
Just a matter of time.
Just a matter of time.
Trying to get that big piece of cabbage down there, Delilah. Hi, Fern.